So at just around 30 hours into Legends ZA, I have still not hit the final story of this game. I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know what the final rogue megas are going to be, but I wanted to create something. I wanted to sit down and talk through kind of like a first impressions vibe kind of review for this game. Not so much something scripted or anything crazy. Right after I finish recording this, I'm actually going to sit down and I'm going to start my more analytical playthrough of this so I can do like a full breakdown review. But I feel like I really wanted to get my thoughts and feelings and opinions out there while they're fresh before I start diving into the replayability of this game, what this game looks like really at its bare bones. And I want to talk about how much fun I've had over the last couple of days. So let's talk about Legends ZA. I've had a super fun time streaming it over the last few days. I am recording this on Saturday, the 18th. I got the game on the 16th, and I have been thinking about it and playing it non-stop. So let's talk about it. First things first, I am a tried and true Pokemon fan. I mean, I've been a fan for 20 years. I have loved Pokemon for my whole life. It is probably my #1 series, as if you guys have been subscribed to this channel, you would know that I've been making Pokemon content for quite a while now. And if I'm being honest with you, I don't think that Legends ZA is like the most perfect Pokemon game in the world. I mean, it's not Generation 10. It's meant to be its own kind of experience. And if you look at it and you frame it up as a game that is supposed to be a different experience, especially coming from someone who loves X and Y and a good story, there's a lot to love here with this game. There's a lot of things that kind of get on my nerves a little bit, and we can talk about that in a little bit of detail here in a little while. But to start this off, I just want to say that I like this game. I don't think this is a bad game. I think that this is the best game that Pokemon has made in a while. I'm a nostalgic fanboy for Sword and Shield, and I also enjoy the Let's Go games, but I'm not the biggest fan of Arceus, and I'm not the biggest fan of Scarlet and Violet, like most people. But I think ZA does bring back some of the things that I was hoping that Pokemon could do with their next entry, or Game Freak could do with this next entry. And I think that it really did hit on a lot of those notes, like how to quest, and the battle system's like really engaging and pretty fun. And while I don't think that this battle system should replace turn-based in every single format and every single way of playing, I do think that this style is pretty fun. And it creates this new format where throughout the game, Pokemon that aren't necessarily as good can shine a little bit more and have a little bit more fun. And moves like Fire Spin and Sand Tomb and stuff, those can actually get use, and they do residual damage, and it's worth using them. And I want to get into like the actual mechanics and the fact that special Pokemon are much better than physical Pokemon in terms of damage, and some of the battling doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, it doesn't feel like the NPCs have the same cooldowns or as like the player characters, so they can like spam moves like back to back to back, and we're kind of trying to slowly catch up and do that damage. But that will be probably something I would talk more about in like my long form review that will come out probably closer to the end of the month. But realistically, the battles that you do have are super fun. I'm gonna try to be as spoiler free as I can here, and I'll probably only show a little bit of gameplay, like of some of the wild areas and some of the Pokemon maybe, but I would try not to show any of the new megas or do anything that might spoil anybody in this video. I'm trying my best anyways to stay as spoiler free as I can, but the game is out now and the game is everywhere, so I might talk about a couple of things that are spoilery, and if I do that, then I'll make sure that I let you know and put a little thing up on the screen. But back to Pokemon. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out in 2023, I think. 2023? No, they came out in 2022. You know what? Flash on the screen right now, Pancake, what year Scarlet and Violet came out, because it's been a while. And while we had a year of DLCs, we've had a long lead up time for this Pokemon game, and I mean like a long lead up time. And we've had a lot of time to kind of get hyped and to think about like, oh, what's going to happen when this game takes place in one city, and what happens if we can't leave, and what are these wild zones going to look like, and what's the story that's taking place. And I have a feeling I'm not yet at the point to where I know why the Pokemon are coming back to Lumiose and all this stuff, and why they're there, and why the Kalos region is staying. But as a sequel to X and Y, I think it's really interesting to see like the events of this catastrophic event that happened again, and seeing how AZ is dealing with it and all of those like little details. And I think there are some things that are really good and some things that are really bad. Like, I don't know why they decided to make the entire map always loaded in. I know it's kind of the main driving point for some people is that the graphics look bad, and I mean, I'm not going to say that these are the best graphics in the world. I mean, I'm currently also doing a replay of Ghost of Tsushima and like replaying that game, and that game is gorgeous. Pokemon is never going to be Ghost of Tsushima, and quite frankly, I don't even want it to be Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, like, the Let's Go games, I think, are probably some of the most beautiful graphics for Pokemon I've ever seen. I don't need to be playing like a Xenoblade or Xenoblade Chronicles, or even like Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't need that for Pokemon. I just need Pokemon to get with the style, stick with the style, and just evolve with it, because the Pokemon and the trainers in this game look incredible. Like the Pokemon textures, the way that the Pokemon are designed, and like the way that the trainers look, it's like, I think it's probably the best that it's looked in a long time. And while I have my gripes, like, I'm not really a big one when it comes to character customization. Like, I really don't change my character around all that much. I am really happy for my friends like Salti and West, who love character customization and spent like half an hour to an hour like formulating what they wanted their character to look like for the whole playthrough. And I honestly might do that for my second playthrough, because I just want to see what's available and what I can do. But I want to kind of just deep dive here the things that I really don't like about the game. And number one is, it kind of feels like the tutorial never ends. It's like a very, very, very tutorial heavy feeling game. And while that's okay in some aspects, like, I like the way that the story kind of interweaves itself with the new wild zones, and like the battles that you go do and the people that you battle, and how the battle zones pop up at night, and kind of how they're corridored off with like the red zones, and the battling is really fun in this game, and it's fast. It's such a fast-paced game in comparison to what we've been used to, that honestly, I think it lends itself well to the way that the quests work. And there's kind of a formula in this game where you do rogue megas, rank up matches, go rank up, rogue mega battles, do your rank up matches, then your promotional match, and go rank up. It's like a cycle that happens each time, and you get a little bit of story sprinkled in here and there between what you're doing. And your rivals in this game do get their Pokemon, but if I'm being honest, the game itself, it introduces a lot of characters, and there's a lot of dialogue, and I think on the first playthrough, 90% of the newer characters are pretty forgettable. The Legends games did a much better, I mean, not the Legends game, but Legends Arceus. I'll give it credit where it did a little bit better of a job in just like introducing like only maybe like a handful of important characters, letting them run their course and then them being done. But ZA kind of brings them all back into the fold, and honestly, I don't remember like any of their names except for Tawny, I think is their name, and Lita, I think. Those are the only two I think I remember. Everybody else is kind of blanking. But the story is really funny. There's some great parts to it. It's a really enjoyable game. There are, like, I love when you get to go down into like you get to go into the sewers for a little bit of the game, and you get to explore like a different underground area. It kind of reminds me of like the Final Fantasy VII remake sewer sections. It's not too bad. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you are thinking about purchasing this game and you are interested in seeing like, oh, is this a good continuation of the main story of Pokemon, or do I think that you would enjoy the game? My answer to that question is yes. I think, realistically speaking, this game, if you're a fan of Pokemon and you know what you're getting into with no voice acting, a lot of dialogue, but you love collecting your Pokemon and you want to try the new battle system, and you like that new characters get slowly added to this universe and they're fleshing out the world and the lore, I think that's what matters most about this game. I think it's less about adding new megas and balancing the battle mechanics and doing this and doing that and doing this. I think it's the most important thing about Legends ZA is that it adds lore and intrigue to the Pokemon world by bringing back Mega Evolution, which has been gone since since the Sun and Moon era, and it's something we've all kind of wanted back for a while. It's a fun mechanic for in-game. I think Terrestrialization is a better mechanic for competitive Pokemon, but nothing beats like getting Mega Evolutions in this game. Like currently at this point, I have a full team of Mega Evolutions. I have Ampharos. You know what? I'm not going to run through all of those because some of them are spoilers. So if you want to hear my full thoughts on the game, a couple of things that I will point you to. One, there will probably be a podcast episode up on the Try Attack channel that will be kind of an in-depth discussion between myself, West, and Salty, where we're going to talk about our Pokemon teams, our favorite parts about the game, discuss things that we thought could be better, discuss things where we think Game Freak really nailed it. And then in a couple of weeks, I want to have a full-fledged review of this game up on this channel. But I'm not necessarily sure exactly when. I would love to get it out before the end of October, but that's only like 13 days away, and I have to write a script, record, edit, and I want to play the game at least one more time. I want to use Chikorita or Emboar and use some different megas and do some different things. So yeah, there's a lot that I have to do and a lot that I want to do, but if you're thinking about getting ZA and you're on the fence and you're not sure if you think you should do it or not, I say go ahead and do it. What I've seen online is that the Switch 1 version isn't that much worse than the Switch 2 version. So if you have the Switch 1 already and you're just looking to play ZA, honestly, I would say get it on that platform and just see. I haven't played it on my Switch 1 yet, but I do want to do a Switch 1 playthrough, or at least play it on my Switch 1 a little bit for the actual review. So I'm thinking I might grab my Emboar and play the first like 5 or 6 hours of the game on maybe my Switch 1 just to see how I like it. But with that being said, make sure you're checking out all those other things. Make sure you're checking out the streams and my reactions of playing the game, because those are all up on the channel as well in a playlist. By the time this video is up, I most likely have finished the game, so you can see like my reactions and that stuff to the final bits of the story. So enjoy those videos, enjoy that, and we will be back with more Pokemon content in the near future. But if there's anything you want to see me cover or want to see me talk about, whether that's a fan game or a ROM hack or a main series game, I think I want to cover the Switch era of Pokemon first, going front to back, or back to front rather. I would love to start with ZA and go the whole way down the line to Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee, and then see what happens from there. But hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I will catch you back in the next video. Happy hunting in ZA, and wish me luck as I try to rank up my research all up to 50 so I can finally get the shiny charm and have one. Bye.